So Parsha Lech Lecha, we have this famous episode with Rabbi Lot and Rabbi Avrohom, and there's a pasuk that just based on Rashi's explanation sort of sends a little bit of shock waves or chills down a person's spine when you sort of calculate or take into account what really is really happening. So pasuk says Vayisa Lot mikedem. So there's this dispute between the between the shepherds of Avram Avinu, shepherds of Lot. Vayisa Lot es Eino Vayaris Kol Kikar Yardain Kikula Mashke Lefnei Shachis Hashem. So before Hashem destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he sees this beautiful valley there, and Vayisa Lot mikedem Vipardu Ishmael Achav. So he moved eastward, and they separated. And we know there's going to be further episodes between Avram and Lot, and Avram's going to have to save Lot. But these words, Vayisa Lot mikedem, the way Rashi explains them, it's more than just a question of what direction he went. Rashi says that he took himself out from basically the world of spirituality and the world of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mikedem nosa me'etzel Avram, v'alach lo ma'arav shel Avram. Okay, he went away from the east and he went to the west. Mikedem nimsa nosea mimizrach l'mayrav. So okay, that's the simple pshat based on just the direction that he went in. Medrash Haggadah, but he quotes a medrash. He literally traveled away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from the Kadmon Shalom, from the one who's been here forever. Omar, he said, he said incredible words that, as the Alter of Kelm points out, do not appear anywhere in the Psukim. Where would the Medrash, Rashi quotes a Medrash, Bereshis Rabbah, where would you get from this type of situation? There was a fight, there were different issues, philosophical issues, in terms of who are we entitled to the land yet? We know that it was not that Stam Lot was simply a pure ganef and wanted to facilitate Geneva. There was a deeper machlokus going on over here. So why would it be that when Avram says this is not happening, this is not working out between the two of us, and we need to separate, and Lot agrees, he acquiesces, and he says, fine. So I found myself a nice piece of real estate. So what you have to say, and what the Bali Musar point out, is that, of course, you're not saying it with your mouth, but you're saying it with your actions. When you have the opportunity to be next to an Avram Avinu, and you say, it's okay, I'm ready to walk away, that the concept of walking away, the concept of being able to separate from an Avram Avinu, when you have spirituality of such a level, and whether you're consciously thinking it or not, what you're really feeling subconsciously, and this is really what the pasuk is saying, this is what he said. He said it from his actions. Our job is to always, embrace the spiritual opportunities. Our job is always to look for more opportunities for aliyah and for connection and for trying to be as strong as we can. There is no possible situation that could have in any way matched what Avram Avinu offered to a Lot. So for Lot to say, fine, I'm going to separate, I'm going to move away and move into a different direction, that is tantamount to saying that he traveled away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, saying words that even though he never said, he basically articulated through his actions. I don't need Avram, I don't need his God, I'm fine by myself. And, the implications, certainly we see a lot of times, and this is really something that's fundamental to who we are, is in terms of prioritizing, but sometimes it gets very difficult making decisions. And the Farshim also point out that what got Lot into this mess was the materialistic wealth that he attained as a result of Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu also became a rich man, but yet he stayed totally true to his mission. Nefesh HaShasu B'Choron, he stayed true to the mission of Kiruv, of bringing monotheism into the world, trying to bring people Tachas Kanti Ashchina, but Lot was ready to give that up. And again, once you sort of allow the materialism to get in, then this is where your judgment and your perspective could be distorted. But so many times we make decisions and, well, listen, this is the more prudent, materialistic financial decision. This is where I need to be because of certain, financial pressures. Well, we have to calculate, we have to think, well, what are those, what's the implication of that decision? What's going to happen to my spirituality? And if a person is aware, as Lot really was, whether he said it or not, it doesn't matter. He certainly was aware that this was his best place to be. That what he should have responded was, Avram, no matter what happens, you tell me what I have to do, but I will not leave you. We know that resonates with us as far as the kind of attitude Rus had when it came to the whole discussion with Naomi, and to contrast her with Orpah, where Orpah sort of had that, and he had that similar situation. She walks away and she ends up in an abyss. That night, what happened to Orpah was unimaginable in terms of her spiritual decline. Rus says, I can't leave you. I'm not going anywhere. Wherever you go, I go. A different perspective in terms of what really matters to me, what I'm not willing to negotiate. And way too often we see situations where we put ourselves, sometimes our kids, we can't always make decisions for them. But I repeat the story with this certain girl who ended up, Baruch Hashem, she didn't stay long, and she ended up leaving UNLV, but way back in I think it was the early 90s, and the girl said she's going to UNLV. In the early 90s, Vegas today isn't so easy, but it's a thriving Jewish community now. Things are growing there, but back in the early 90s, it was come out nothing there. And the girl says, I'm going to go to UNLV from Valley Torah. You said, I told her, what's in UNLV? How are you going to stay from in UNLVs? Well, but don't worry, basically don't worry, but why are you going there? Because they have the number one hotel management program in the country. I don't know if it's still there. It's still true, but that's what was true then. That UNLV had that program. So, and then they had the best standing and the best ranking. So, okay, and if you went to the fourth best program or the fifth best program, you have to go to the top. So if that's how you look at things, well, then you end up in a place where maybe you shouldn't be. And whether maybe you didn't mean to say it, maybe you just lacked the depth of appreciating what this Rashi is telling us. But what this Rashi is telling us is decisions that we make that might seem for our best interest on a financial or a materialistic level, but on a spiritual level, they're drastic. They're devastating. We're saying things that we never maybe meant to say, but that's what you're saying. You're saying, I don't want the spirituality. I don't want the protection that Avram Avinu affords me. So it makes us realize that the stakes are so much higher. It makes us realize that, especially, certainly for the pursuit of materialistic wealth, that becomes the real issue in terms of if that's our driving force. We know that, Torah Kevad, spirituality needs to always be our anchor, needs to be our focus. But also in terms of the decisions that we make, when we're moving away from Torah, that very move, unless obviously if it's dictated by Das Torah and it has to be done, you have no choice. Okay, then you know that you're following the Ratzon Hashem. But if it's just sort of a willy-nilly type of reaction to a pressure of a situation, and you're going, we don't realize what we're doing, where we're going. We don't realize what kind of downward spiral we might be taking ourselves in, as we see what happened to Lot. We see what happened to Orpah, and therefore certainly the message needs to be for us, our focus needs to be always our anchor. Our anchor is spirituality, our anchor is our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Be'ez Hashem, we always make the right decisions, we'll always be going Leilu Eila and not Chas V'Shalom in the other direction.